Hello YouTube, my name is Nero, and today we have some Call of Duty Advanced Warfare and another episode of Dear Nero, which of course is the weekly series here on my channel where subscribers send me in fan mail and or fan questions, and I must go and answer them. To cover on the gameplay today, we are playing on the new Exo Zombie map. That map is going to be called Descent, and I'm going to be playing with random people online. Hopefully you guys will all sit back, relax, and enjoy the gameplay while we hop into the questions here, because I think we have a lot of good questions this week, and without further ado, let's hop right into them. The first one, he is going to write, Dear Nero, I have a personal problem, but I think a lot of your subscribers might face this problem as well, and that problem is shyness. I'm very shy around people, so shy that my parents wonder if I actually have any friends. Kind of messed up, but I can understand, considering I barely talk to anybody without stuttering besides my group of friends. To make it worse, I have a harder time talking to girls because 1, I'm very shy, and 2, a lot of girls in my school I consider to be pretty or cute. I'm a sophomore and I'm 15 years old and I need help. Thank you, and I watch all of your videos, even watching old videos, and have a great day. Green Jose from Texas. So, Mr. Jose, there's, of course, a giant spectrum to this, but I would suppose the extreme ends of this would be introverts on one side and extroverts on the other side. So, extroverts are people that kind of gain their energy by being around people, right? They're very social, like social butterflies. They like being around people, they get their energy from being around people, and they don't really like to be alone. They don't enjoy being alone. They much rather prefer the company of being around other people, whereas introverts are kind of the opposite. I think that's kind of where you may fall into. It's like, you'd rather just hang out by yourself. Like, to you, a fun time might just be hanging out in your room. I know you personally, I guess, suppose, from Twitter, because you sent me a lot of fan art and stuff like that on Twitter, which is really great. I've seen your Twitter profile and stuff, and maybe it would appear, just, you know, I don't really know you that well, but maybe you just enjoy hanging out in your room, watching YouTube videos, playing video games, doing some drawings, and talking to people online, because I'm kind of in the same boat as you. I would definitely consider myself and identify myself more as an introvert. You know, growing up and all through high school and even into my young adult life, I've always kind of enjoyed being alone more than being around people. You know, I'm not dating right now, and I haven't dated for a couple years now, and people are always like, well, how come you're not dating anybody? Because everybody my age is like dating. You know, everyone my age is either getting married or having children or dating and stuff like that, and it's because I don't really see a point in doing so. Like, of course I would be okay with having a relationship, but it's really, I'm not actively pursuing one because I am perfectly fine just hanging out by myself a lot of the time. You know, I have friends and I'm okay with hanging out with them and such, but I'm perfectly okay also just hanging out in my room, playing video games, doing YouTube stuff. You know, I'm very introverted in that respect, and I wouldn't say I necessarily, you know, lose energy or I'm very shy around people, but I just also really prefer being alone, which sounds weird, but I'm okay with it. You know, maybe that puts me on the spectrum where I'm a bit more of an introvert, and maybe you're in the same respect. You say you're shy and you stutter a lot when you talk to other people, and you're also shy and you stutter a lot when you talk to girls, but you said that you're a sophomore and you're 15 years old. I think a lot of people are that way. There's, of course, some of these like puberty gods out there who are like, you know, right from the get, you know, they hit puberty very early. They're just social butterflies. They talk to everybody, you know, and they're friends with everybody, and it's everyone's best friend. Not a lot of people are like that. There's a couple people like that from every school, but a lot of people aren't like that. It's perfectly normal, I'd say, for a sophomore, especially a 15-year-old, you know, to be a little socially awkward around other people and around girls outside of like their own like core group of friends. I think a lot of people are like that. So you're fine, man. You are just where you need to be in life, and if you continue to be like a little bit shy around people, that's okay, because some people are just shy. If you become more of an extrovert where you're, you know, you become a social butterfly, you start talking to everybody and you don't start stuttering around people and stuff, that's fine as well, because it's all just going to come down to your personality and kind of how you develop. And yeah, I wouldn't worry too much about it, man. I would not worry too much about it, because I was shy when I was 15, and now look at me here on YouTube, and I'm sure there's a lot of people in your school that feel the exact same way, but maybe you just think a little bit too much about it. But yeah, if you identify yourself as maybe more of an introvert, that's perfectly normal, because there's a lot of introverted people out there. You know, you kind of like to hang out by yourself. You don't really feel the need to be hanging out around a bunch of people. You don't feel the need to be going to a bunch of social events or anything like that. You're kind of okay just doing you, being by yourself, and that's perfectly fine, man, because I was the exact same way, and I think I still am to this day, because I'm not a very outgoing person, I would suppose. I'm definitely a lot more introverted. Next question, he's going to write, Dear Nero, do you think that after Black Ops 3 comes out, people will still play Advanced Warfare? Thanks for answering this and keep up the great work. Dylan from California. So Dylan, I do think that people are going to continue to play Advanced Warfare after Black Ops 3 comes out for a number of reasons. The biggest reason being not everybody transitions to a newer Call of Duty right away, right? That's definitely a thing. I mean, there's still people that are playing Call of Duty 4, and there's still people that are playing on like fresh accounts that like have really no idea what they're doing, and like these like people are brand new to the series and they're playing Call of Duty 4, maybe because they went to GameStop and they saw it was like $20 as compared to the other ones that are like $60, and they're like, oh sure, I'll buy that one. I don't know why, but there's definitely people that have never played Call of Duty before playing the Call of Duty game that came out in 2007. You know, I think the years are behind us where people would just play the newest Call of Duty for the sake that it's the newest Call of Duty. I think we definitely saw it in Ghosts that if the community doesn't like the game, they're just going to go back and play some of the older games, right? And it got to the point where more people were playing the older games than they were the current one, which was something that hasn't happened since World at War back in 08, because a lot of people didn't like the theme of World at War in that there were no full auto assault rifles and there were dogs and there was all these things in the game that were a lot different, so they went back to Call of Duty 4 instead. You know, that was the last time that ended up happening. And then of course with Ghost, a lot of people went back from Ghost and went and played Black Ops 2. And so I think when Advanced Warfare, when Black Ops 3 comes out, people are still going to play Advanced Warfare, one, because maybe they don't want to make a transition to a new game right away, but also because I think, again, the years are behind us where just because the current Call of Duty, everyone's going to play it, I think people are just going to play whatever they enjoy playing, right? Because I remember for a long time with myself and my friends and just a lot of people that I knew, we would play the current Call of Duty because it was the current Call of Duty. I can remember people hating the games, like Modern Warfare 3 comes to mind, where a lot of people in my group of friends, we didn't like Modern Warfare 3 that much, but we played it every single day, like every day, and we complained about it the whole time about how we hated playing it, which really doesn't make sense if you think about it. And I don't think people necessarily do that anymore. I think if people aren't enjoying their time with a game, they're going to go play a different game. And so if Black Ops 3 doesn't turn out to be your cup of tea or my cup of tea or someone else's cup of tea, then they're probably just going to go back and play Advanced Warfare, go back and play Black Ops 2, go back and play Ghost, go play some other games rather than just playing the new game because it's the new game. But keep in mind, that's not probably going to happen until after a few months or so after Black Ops 3 is out, because regardless if the game is awful or amazing, everybody loves the new Call of Duty game for the first couple months or so. And so that's what I think is like the coolest part about Call of Duty is regardless if it turns out to like not be that great of a game in comparison to other Call of Duty games, regardless of that, the first couple months of the game are always just so ridiculously fun, and especially like the first month of it, which is going to be great. I'm interested to see, is some of that initial fun going to be sucked away by the fact that we're going to be able to play a bit of it during the beta? Like we're going to have like this early trial period of the game in the form of a beta, and I'm wondering if that's going to affect like the overall like I love this game feel that you have like the honeymoon phase for Black Ops 3 when it actually makes its release. We will definitely have to see about that. Next question, he writes, Dear Nero, will you do an armory showcase in Advanced Warfare before Black Ops 3 comes out? Logan from Iowa. So Logan, yeah, totally. I will do another armory showcase. I already have one here on my channel, but as somebody that buys a lot of advanced supply drops, which mainly is just for YouTube videos, you guys like to see me open them, as well as I try to get some new weapons, because, you know, Call of Duty is kind of my job here on YouTube, and I make a lot of Call of Duty videos, so having a bunch of different weapon variants definitely can help out with that. I have a lot of weapon variants and a lot of customization pieces, you know, for my EXO and for my character itself, so I have a lot of pieces and stuff, so I would definitely be interested in making another armory video before Black Ops 3 comes out, kind of like a final armory video, unless of course over the course of Black Ops 3's life cycle they actually start adding in some new weapons into Advanced Warfare. That would be interesting, because we saw it with Black Ops 2, even though Call of Duty Ghosts was out, Black Ops 2 ended up actually putting out some DLC camos, right? We saw that happen, which I thought was really interesting. So who knows, maybe with Advanced Warfare they'll continue to add new pieces of customization, like new pieces of cosmetic stuff for your character, or maybe even brand new weapons added into supply drops and advanced supply drops during the life cycle of Black Ops 3 to kind of get more people to go back there. Who knows? That's entirely possible. But yeah, I will still do an armory showcase video for Advanced Warfare before Black Ops 3 comes out. Next question, he's going to write, Dear Nero, you seem like a huge Madden fan, and will you be doing a franchise mode Let's Play on Madden 16 on your Let's Play channel? Damien from Pennsylvania. So Damien, a lot of people ask me about that because I do post Madden videos every single year here on my YouTube channel because I'm a huge Madden fan. I've been playing Madden since about 2004. That's when Michael Vick was on the cover back when he was on the Falcons. And I did play a bit of Madden 2003 as well. I think, I could be wrong on this, I think Marshall Faulk was on the cover. I'm going to do a live Googling right here in the video. Live Googling Madden 2003, and we are going to go to, yes, it's Marshall Faulk on the cover. I knew I wasn't wrong, and it's actually interesting. The first image is on the PlayStation 2, but I played it on my friend's GameCube back then because he had GameCube and Madden 2003. Actually, did it come out on the GameCube? I just want to make sure my memory is correct on this. Let's go to GameCube images here, and I'm not seeing it. Oh, there it is. So yeah, Madden 2003 on the GameCube. Yep, I'm right. All right, I just want to make sure I was correct on that because sometimes I forget things. But yeah, I definitely played Madden 03 on my friend's GameCube, and then when I got a PlayStation 2, I started playing Madden 04, and so on from there. So I've been a huge fan of the Madden franchise. I get it every single year. I'm actually kind of partnered with EA in that they send me some of their games for free and do sponsored videos for them, and I'll probably be doing some more sponsored Madden videos this year as well. I'm definitely looking forward to the game itself, but one thing I've never done is a Let's Play, like a franchise mode or a My Player mode, kind of a Let's Play for Madden, which I think I could do pretty well because I do know a lot about football. I know a lot about players. I've been following the NFL for about a decade now. You know, it's something I think I'd be very good at, but I've never actually done it. So we'll have to see about this year. I don't ever want to make promises in terms of Let's Plays, but I think it would be fun to do a Madden franchise mode Let's Play, or maybe even My Player mode if they make it a bit better. I've said many times I think they could definitely improve the My Player mode in Madden, but yeah, I think, well, we might do it. We might do it. No promises, but if we did, I'd probably do a franchise with like the Browns, because the Browns are my favorite team, and they're kind of like an underdog team, so it's not like I'm going in there with like the Patriots or any well-established teams like the San Francisco 49ers or the Patriots, or just like any like of the teams that have a lot of great players and they're already kind of established. The Browns, they're okay, but they're definitely not great, and there's definitely a lot of room for improvement. I can make some trades, I can do some free agent signings, I can move people around on the roster a bit. It could be fun. So we'll have to see, but again, no promises on that. Next question, he's going to write, Dear Nero, since Advanced Warfare has broken the barrier and brought past guns into a futuristic game, do you think that Black Ops 3 will do the same and bring back older guns? Michael from the Music City. So, Michael, it's entirely possible that they will do that, but we have no way of knowing that. So, from what we've seen from, like, the early builds of the game that YouTubers have been able to play at different events, and assumably we're going to be playing roughly the same build when the beta comes out, we haven't seen any older guns in there either, but it's entirely possible that they can add this kind of stuff to the game. It's just a matter of whether or not they will want to do that. Now, keep in mind, this is going to be this would be the longest series in the Call of Duty franchise now I think about it, because the Modern Warfare series was Call of Duty 4, Modern Warfare 2, and Modern Warfare 3. That was like the entirety of the Modern Warfare series. Of course, Ghost was its own series, and of course, the Call of Duty games that came before Call of Duty 4 were just, variations of World War II that would tell different stories and show different aspects of World War II. Whereas the Treyarch kind of Black Ops series is World at War, Black Ops 2, now Black Ops 3. So it's going to be a very long-running series, and maybe, just maybe, throughout the campaign, maybe even a bit in the multiplayer, maybe via DLC, they'll have kind of nods in the direction of some of their older games. Maybe they'll make some nods towards some of the guns and stuff like that, or maybe some references towards things that happened in the original Black Ops, maybe some things that happened in World at War, maybe things that happened in Black Ops 2. I would not be surprised to see them feature, have a gun that was in Black Ops 2 make its way into Black Ops 3, at least one of them. I wouldn't be surprised to see that at all. I definitely think they could do something like that. So it's entirely possible they could do this, but again, we have no way of confirming whether or not they're going to try and add past guns into Black Ops 3. But again, I really hope that they do. Next question, he's going to write, Dear Nero, when do you think a map editor feature will be introduced into the Call of Duty series? And if it meant giving up the third game mode, would you give up zombies for it? Keep up the great work. James from Manchester, England. So James, tough question. So I, of course, have talked about a map editor several times here on Dear Nero because I'm very passionate about that idea. I love the idea of a map editor in the Call of Duty franchise. Basically something along the idea of Forge World in Halo, or maybe something similar to what we saw so far of Doom when that's going to come out. That's going to have its own level editor as well. I think it would just be very fun. Like, look, Mario even has a level editor now. Like, it's just something that you see in a lot of games now. The idea of a level editor where you put in a little bit of development time, right? The studio puts in a bit of development time, and they make it so the community can just put together some really cool stuff. Like, one interesting thing, and I don't know too much about the other Halo games, but I did play a bit of Halo Reach, was some of the stuff that was made in Forge World actually made its way into the actual multiplayer. Like, some of the Forge World maps that, fans put together were actually deemed to be good enough to be put in the actual multiplayer itself, because they were, that good. And of course, I had a ton of fun just being able to build wherever you want to build. Like, I rebuilt Shipment from Call of Duty 4 in Halo, which I think a lot of people did. But I also made like a death arena and spent a lot of time, so a little attention to detail and stuff like that, with putting the roof on there and putting the colors where I wanted to put it. And of course, you just have all the fun of making ramps with your friends, spawning in a couple vehicles, going down the ramp, hitting jumps and stuff like that, putting up death barriers, being able to spawn in and do whatever you want with it. It's really fun. Forge World is a blast. It really is. It kind of makes me want to go back and play Halo Reach, because Forge World was really that fun. I would love to see something similar to that in Call of Duty. If it meant giving up the third game mode, in that it meant giving up zombies, giving up Spec Ops, any of that stuff, would I do it? I would. Right? And I don't think a lot of other people, I understand a lot of you guys may disagree with that, but for me personally, I am okay with never getting another brand new Call of Duty Zombies map if it means that we actually get a level editor. Because what I think about the level editor, I see that as kind of like infinite fun. There's like infinite replayability to that, whereas zombie maps, while they are great, they don't necessarily have infinite replayability, as well as with the fact that there is a modding scene. All they need to do is let Black Ops 3 be moddable, and we've already talked about this already a little bit. They've hinted towards it, but we haven't really gotten any confirmations on it. It's entirely possible that they would add custom zombies to Black Ops 3 and allow the community itself to just put together these maps for them. You look at Call of Duty World at War. I've made a couple videos talking about it, and I've done a bunch of Let's Plays of these maps. Custom zombies on World at War. Fans, and just the community themselves, they build maps on the PC. They build zombie maps, and they put them out there for free for people to download and play, and there's some really cool ones out there. And so if I ever, had an itch to play more zombies, I could just go to like zombiemodding.com, and I could just go through. There's like thousands of zombie maps I haven't played yet on there. Download them, play them right away. It's all free. It's very, very simple to do that. And so I would be okay with not getting any more official Call of Duty zombie maps if it meant I could have a level editor and still play custom zombies. So from my perspective, that would be a good trade-off, but I can understand for a lot of other people that wouldn't necessarily be that great of a trade-off, and you guys just would really like to continue having zombies, which again, I completely understand. Next question, he writes, Dear Nero, I am a huge fan of your Borderlands Let's Plays and Borderlands in general. I wanted to know, what do you want from the next Borderlands game? Hopefully it will be Borderlands 3. And will you make a full playthrough? Keep up the great work. This would be my second time on Dear Nero if you choose to feature this question. Elijah from Belarus. So Elijah, I love Borderlands as well. I'm sure you're well aware of that. What do I want of the next Borderlands game? I may have hinted at this before, or maybe touched on it in another Dear Nero, but I'm more than happy to cover it again. I would want the next Borderlands game to just be a continuation of what happened in Borderlands 2. Keep in mind, just because the pre-sequel is the newest Borderlands game, it was a pre-sequel. It was basically set between Borderlands 1 and Borderlands 2. So what I would like to see is Borderlands 3, which would be a direct sequel to Borderlands 2 and the events that happened there. I want it to be on Pandora. I'm not a big fan of going up there on Elpis towards the moon or anything like that. And what they hinted at in the ending, without any spoilers, of the pre-sequel is that there is going to be something big happening on Pandora. They said war is coming, and hopefully that is exactly what we're going to get in Borderlands 3. I want Borderlands 3 to just be on Pandora. I want it to have a bunch of new places, while at the same time allowing us to explore old places. Like in Borderlands 2, when you can go back to Firestone, that was like the coolest thing ever, man. I would love that, and I would love to be able to go back to Sanctuary, or even have Sanctuary continue to be the main city, but have it be updated somehow. I want to be able to go back to some older places that we saw in Borderlands 1 and Borderlands 2, while still having a bunch of brand new stuff to go. I want there to be brand new weapons. I don't want them to just be reskins like we saw in the pre-sequel, which was really disappointing to me. They added in like a bunch of legendaries and stuff that were basically just reskins of what we saw in Borderlands 2. The pre-sequel seemed to be so lazy compared to Borderlands 2. Like, Borderlands 2 was like this amazing pinnacle of gaming, whereas the pre-sequel was like, really? They just kind of copy and pasted everything and threw on some Australian accents. And then, of course, the studio that made that game's no longer there. Like, it's like... yeah, it wasn't really that great. I was disappointed by it wholeheartedly, and I think a lot of other people were as well. But yeah, I would really like to see a Borderlands 3. I want it to be on Pandora, and I want it to have actual new weapons, new areas, while at the same time, maybe throw in some throwbacks. Maybe have a couple legendaries like the Unkempt Herald, or maybe the Hellfire or something like that from Borderlands 2, but have them be very rare. Don't shove it in your face that it's there. Just have it be a subtle thing that you may be able to find in one of the older zones, like maybe if you go back to Firestone, go back to the Arid Badlands, or somewhere in that area. I think that would be pretty interesting. But yeah, I would definitely love a Borderlands 3. I would totally do a full playthrough of it over on my Let's Play channel if and when they actually decide to make that game. Next question, he's going to write, Dear Nero, seeing the success from supply drops and weapon variants in Advanced Warfare, do you think they will continue and do it in Black Ops 3? And do you want them to? Big fan from Australia, your Noha. So your Noha, perhaps you are unaware, and perhaps there's some of you guys out there that are already unaware as well, there is not going to be weapon variants or supply drops in Black Ops 3. It's something they're not going to be doing. Now, you can actually customize your weapon pretty well via the Weaponsmith, or maybe it's called the Gunsmith. I keep messing up Weaponsmith and Gunsmith, but I'm pretty sure it's called the Gunsmith in Black Ops 3, where you're going to be able to essentially create your own variant, but you're not going to be able to affect the stats whatsoever. So you'll be able to take a gun and you'll be able to like put it in this Gunsmith thing, and then from there you'll be able to go ahead and put attachments on it. I don't know the exact details, just keep that in mind, but for example, you'll have 4 different kinds of foregrips. They all do the exact same thing. None of them have different stats compared to the other ones, but they just look cosmetically different. Same thing for your red dot sight, same thing for your stock, same thing for your silencers. They all just kind of look different. So that's what you're going to be able to do in Black Ops 3, which would be kind of nice. There's definitely going to be a lot of customization to it, but there's not going to be any different weapon variants or supply drops coming into Call of Duty Black Ops 3. Would I want them to? Yeah. I think I've said a number of times here on the channel that I really think that supply drops, advanced supply drops even, because it's basically just kind of a microtransaction in the game, as well as the idea of weapon variants in Advanced Warfare, I think that's the best thing they added to the game. I really think a looting system in Call of Duty was a fantastic idea. None of us really saw it coming, and I really like it. I really like the idea of weapon variants in Call of Duty. Now, understandably, some people don't like it. Some people out there don't like the idea of having a gun be ridiculously good. You think of some of the best variants in the game, and maybe you don't have one of those good variants. Other people do, and you kind of feel like you're inherently at a disadvantage. I can understand why people don't like that, but for me personally, that doesn't bother me, because I still, at the end of the day, really like the idea of random chances. It's like opening a card pack or something like that every time you open a supply drop. And if you get something that you really wanted, you get very excited. And you get this new gun which has its own custom skin on there. Notice, I don't think people give enough credit for this. In Advanced Warfare, like all the weapon variants have like their own skin on them and whatnot, and they all look different than other ones. It's really cool. So I love the idea of weapon variants in Call of Duty, and I love the idea of supply drops, and I would love to see them return in Black Ops 3. So unfortunately, they're not going to, but I would not be surprised to see them in Infinity Ward's next game, which of course will be the Call of Duty game to follow Call of Duty Black Ops 3. Next question, he's going to write, Dear Nero, what is your opinion on Google divorcing Google+? Thanks from, this person did not leave his or her name. And yes, he actually wrote in, this person did not leave his or her name. So yeah, if you guys were unaware, they actually made it so you don't need Google+ to do anything on YouTube anymore, which is, something they implemented a while back. They kind of forced it on everybody, and everyone, obviously, for good reason, they kind of rebelled against that. They're like, no, why are you trying to make us use this system? Essentially, Google was trying to make like an all-in-one platform. They were trying to make like this Facebook thing that's also tied in with your YouTube account and like all this other stuff. And honestly, I don't even know 100% what they wanted to do with Google+. It was just something they kind of forced upon people. Now, again, because I did a live Googling here in this video, I'm going to go ahead and do another one here. They actually made me have a Google+ thing for YouTube, obviously. I'm sure as all of you guys did to make your YouTube accounts, those of you guys actually have it. And I'm looking at it. I never use this thing for anything. I'm on my Google+ page right now. Apparently, I have 3,585 followers here on Google+, and apparently my Google+ page has like 6 million views on it. I don't know. And I'm looking through it. I don't know what the point of any of this is. Like, it's nothing but just links to my videos. It looks like, what a video link would look like on Facebook. That's what it looks like. It just, my entire page is just spammed with videos that I've uploaded. I've never actually written anything out on here. Like, my introduction here, like my bio on here is, I don't even know what Google+ is or what purpose it serves. Either way, this one is mine. Hope you enjoy, like, and favorite. Like, I wrote that the day they made me create Google+ on my YouTube channel, and, I never used it for anything. I don't think anybody really used Google Plus for anything. I'm sure there's some of you guys out there, but it's definitely going to be a small minority of you that actually use Google Plus for anything. And I'm sure eventually they kind of realized, yeah, this didn't catch on. And one of the big reasons why Google Plus didn't catch on is because it's so difficult to convince people to move on to a new form of social media. Of course, MySpace back in the day used to be a big thing, right? MySpace used to be giant, and people moved over to Facebook. Now that was a really tough transition. I remember, because I must have been early high school when that transition was happening, where there was a lot of people that were, they would have a MySpace account, but hey, I'm also on Facebook, I'm also on this new thing, and it started out as a small thing, but eventually it got bigger and bigger and bigger to the point where nobody uses MySpace anymore, and everybody uses Facebook. So it's kind of hard to make that happen. It really is. And Google tried to well, we're Google, we have enough money to do this in here, and we have the power of forcing everybody to get on our new system here because of YouTube. So that's what they did. They tried basically to force everybody onto their new thing, and their hope, I'm assuming, was that once we got there, we would like what we saw. But what we all got annoyed by, because nobody likes being forced to do anything. Nobody likes being forced to do anything in this world, and that's what they kind of did. They're like, hey, if you want to be on YouTube, you need to have a Google Plus. And so people would just get annoyed at the fact they had to have a Google Plus, and I don't think a lot of people actually ended up using it for anything. And so yeah, they eventually said, what, people aren't even really using this thing, so we're going to make it so you no longer have to sign up to Google Plus to actually have a YouTube account, which is a pretty good thing. I'm definitely happy about that. And my Google Plus, I'm still linked with it, so if you ever want to go there, it's plus NerosCinema, I suppose, is how you find my thing. It's plus.google.com/plus sign, like the addition sign, NerosCinema, and that'll take you over to my Google Plus account. And yeah, you can look at all the links to my videos that you can already find on my YouTube channel. So I'm not really sure why you necessarily want to go there, but you can if you would like to. Next and final question, he is going to write, Dear Nero, I recently watched the trailer for the new Tony Hawk Pro Skater game. I wanted to know what you think of it, and will you be picking up when it comes out? Personally, I don't think I will, because Tony Hawk is overrated. Nick from Arizona. So Nick, I have seen said trailer, and I was not blown away by said trailer whatsoever, but I'm totally going to buy the new Tony Hawk game. I'm totally getting it out of principle, and that principle is I grew up on Tony Hawk's Pro Skater. I did. I mean, back on the PlayStation 1 and the PlayStation 2, I would play all the Tony Hawk's games, and I would spend all day on these things, man. Like a big part of my childhood was gaming. You guys know that. I played a lot of Pokemon games, and I played a lot of games on the PlayStation 1, the PlayStation 2, and the Sega Genesis. And as I started getting a little bit older, not like super young, but once I started getting a little bit older, I would play so much of the old Tony Hawk's games. And one of my favorite aspects of Tony Hawk's was the fact that you could create your own park. You could create your own skate park. You could put a ramp here. You could put a rail here. You could do whatever kind of crazy stuff you want to do with it, right? And they have that same feature in the new Tony Hawk's game. It was right there in the trailer. I'm like, they're adding that back too, sweet, because I always liked the Tony Hawk series. Now, I will admit, as somebody that reluctantly changed over, I think that the skate system is better. I like the feel that you have in the skate games, where to pull off a trick, it actually takes a bit of skill. Whereas in Tony Hawk's, it's like do 5 million kickflip backflips. Because that's what Tony Hawk's is. You do some really crazy. It's a very arcadey, cartoony style of a skate game. Whereas Skate itself, the game Skate and Skate 2, and is there a Skate 3? I don't think I ever played Skate 3 if there is a Skate 3. But the Skate series, it's a lot more realistic, whereas all the abilities and all the tricks that you can do are based off like what you can do with the stick. Like if you want to do the specific kind of thing, you gotta flick the stick forward, then you gotta drag it around to the side, then make it go right to left, then go down, then go up. Like you gotta do all kinds of crazy combinations and stuff with your stick, and it actually translates into your board doing things, which I think is a really cool thing. It's a lot more skill based, I suppose. Whereas Tony Hawk's is a bit more wild. Like you can have a character, make a brand new character, have him have very low stats overall. You can go up there and very easily pull off some really cool tricks. You can go up there and you can do like a 900 right away or something like that, which is okay because it's an arcade style of a game. Now, I would be interested to see, because I don't think they're going to, but I would be interested if they were to also add BMX bikes into there. Because also, while I played a lot of Tony Hawk's growing up, I was also into biking, and so I would also play, what was it, Dave Mero's Pro BMX? I think Matt Hoffman had a game. This is like the most unprofessional Dear Nero ever, but here we go. Matt Hoffman. Yeah, Matt Hoffman's Pro BMX. It's actually showing up in the Google Field results. Yes, Matt Hoffman's Pro BMX 2. I had that game, and it was awesome. And I'm pretty sure Dave Mera had one as well. Dave Mera Freestyle BMX. So Matt Hoffman had the Pro BMX, and Dave Mera had the Freestyle BMX. I had both of these games as well, along with the Tony Hawk's games, and they were awesome. Like, I love the BMX. It's basically the same thing, right? It's basically the same thing as the Tony Hawk games, but it's with bikes, and you can do some really cool stuff on a bike as compared to a skateboard, and I thought it was just a really cool system. And so I wish the Tony Hawk game would also have bikes in there, but who knows, maybe if there's a lot of success for this new Tony Hawk game, maybe they'll come out with a new Dave Mera game or a new Matt Hoffman game or something along those lines. But ladies and gentlemen, that is going to be this week's episode of Dear Nero. I went on a long time there towards the end talking about Tony Hawk's, but I love that game. I'm totally going to buy it. The trailer did not blow me away, to be perfectly honest, but I'm still going to get it regardless. regardless for nostalgia's sake. And while Tony Hawk may be overrated, sure, it could be overrated. Maybe you think Skate's better, which I agree, Skate's probably a better game, but I'm still buying Tony Hawk's out of nostalgia's sake, and I'll probably do some videos of it over on yours Let's Plays. Maybe. You guys know I don't like to actually guarantee anything over there on that channel. But ladies and gentlemen, again, that is going to be this week's episode of Dear Nero. I hope you guys all enjoyed it. And if you did, please be sure to leave a rating where you guys feel it deserves. And if you guys would like to submit your questions for next week's episode of Dear Nero, simply send me a personal message here on YouTube. To do that, all you need to do is go to my YouTube channel, go to the About tab, and from there, you will find a Send Message button. Just go ahead and send your message. Just be sure to type in Dear Nero at the very beginning of your message. That way, while I'm scrolling through my messages at the end of the week, I can go ahead and find the ones that were specifically sent for Dear Nero as compared to messages that may have been sent for other things. So just be sure to go ahead and do that. But yes, ladies and gentlemen, once again, I hope you guys all enjoyed the video. Remember to leave a rating. I hope you guys all have a wonderful day.